Hello, ladies and gentlemen of SeemsGoodMagic.com. This is Travis Sowers, and we are jumping into an Innistrad 8-4 fast build single elimination draft. It is still very early in the format. The drafts have been out for about 4 or 5 days now for me. So anybody who says they've broken the format probably doesn't know what they're talking about. Although early reports are that red-white aggro is very good, and much to my disappointment, crawling sensation decks do not appear to be a real thing. So we're going to try to draft a good classic deck if we can and see what's open rather than kind of going off the deep end. Although I certainly enjoyed the spider spawning draft. That's not something I'm looking to consistently produce here. I'm going to go for it again one day though, you wait and see. I had intended to do more sealeds, but it looks like phantom sealeds have been removed, which is one of the easiest ways to do a sealed video, because you could just do the sealed build and then do 3 matches, whereas leagues are 5 matches and take a little bit longer to record. So if phantom sealeds are gone, it's unlikely we'll see a lot of sealed here on SeemsGood, but you can always come and check out the stream for more hot sealed action if that's the way you want to go. Like if that's what you want to see, that's what you can find there, because I will be doing the leagues there. So what have we got for our first pick here? Well, if I wanted to go nuts, I could go with the Autumnal Gloom, although I don't think that's a first pick quality card if we're talking about just like sheer card quality. I think what this pick really comes down to a conversation between Gloom Widow, Rabid Bite, and the Storm Rider Spirit, because the rest of the cards aren't really packing much of a punch. This is okay, but I mean you don't have room for a lot of 7 mana spells in your deck, and most of what you get out of this you'd be better served just by having a Storm Rider Spirit. The Gloom Widow can do a great job beating down. Like, I love a 3 mana 3/3. Play all of them I can get. But Rabid Bite's a removal spell. It's really good in black green if you end up going that direction, because you get a couple of those Death Touch rats. And it's awesome. But it also leaves us potentially open to go into werewolves, which I haven't drafted a lot of yet, but looks like it'd be fun. So I think I'm going to start with a Rabid Bite. What do you think, Dutch? There's not any cats in the pack. I can't take a cat. All right, well, here we've got some options. There's a lot of good cards here. So whatever I take, we're leaving something on the table. So if we wanted to take a card that goes with our Rabid Bite, we could take the Cult of the Waxing Moon or the Neglected Heirloom. One of the things I've been doing on the stream lately is moving my first pick over here, so I'm not even looking at it when I make the second pick, because in the first couple packs, you should be just taking what's open. Not like trying to draft. Well, I've got a Rabid Bite, so obviously we take the green card. That's bad. If it's not that, it's probably the Angelic Purge with a slight nod towards the Vessel and the Throttle. God, I feel like if you take the Neglected Heirloom soon enough and then pick up a couple werewolves, you've got a thing to do. Like, this is the real crux of it. Is this a format where you just take the best card, see what's open and move in, or where you take a couple speculative picks first? I'm going to go with the speculative picks. Like, if we're able to make that work, it's going to be awesome. And if we're not, we'll draft something else. Like, I'm probably going to take a white card here, but how much better would the Angelic Purge have been? I don't know. We could also look at the Drownyard Explorers. I like that card a lot, and blue-green is fun. Again, we're not necessarily... I hate the way that flip cards interact with this preview window. It makes me sad. I wish it would just show one side and then flip when you clicked on it. We're not necessarily green either just because we have a Rabid Bite. That's basically what I was just talking about and saying we have to remember. Yeah, these picks are kind of all throwaway unless you're going into a specific deck. I'm going to take the Drownyard Explorers and we'll kind of move from there. If we end up being Clue Green, great. If we don't, that's all right too. Let's see. I think you're supposed to take this after you have a bunch of werewolves, which we don't. Compelling Deterrence is fine though. Crow of Dark Tidings actually can get work done. I do like Watcher in the Web as well. Like, for me, this pack is kind of Crow of Dark Tidings, Necropod if you want a finisher. I mean, you can just take the Geist. Blue-White Skies is still a deck. The Geist and the Compelling Deterrence go the best with what we have. The Geist could lead us open to shenanigans here, And again, the Ashmouth Blade would like to be in a white deck where you get that guy that flips it. It also plays well with flyers. I think I'm going to go with the Geist and start to say maybe we have a plan here. Maybe we have a plan. What is that plan? I'm not sure yet. God, another crow? That could be it. We've got a Bob Manley. Why do I call him Bob Manley? Look at the picture. It's Bob Manley. God, there's not any cards here. Like the best card is the Crow or maybe the Wicker Witch. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing here. I mean, if black's going to be open, it's better to go into it now than sit here and wonder about it. So, all right, let's just pick a card of every color. We can say with some reassurance that we are not red and be comfortable with that. This uninvited guest would like to be in our deck. Pick this up, a couple werewolves, all of a sudden your heirloom's doing a thing. So I could see us going blue X skies. I would consider taking that woodland stream to splash for a rabid bite, because I'll splash it. But this seems like a decent start. We need some 2-drops to keep other people's werewolves from flipping. But we can see about that. Now, I would want a Storm Rider Spirit in those decks. Like, if we're going to be blue, I want one of these. We want it. We're not red, so we don't need that. The Inquisitor would be okay if we're going white, for sure. But I don't think you go into white for an Inquisitor. I think you take it if you are white. Oh, yeah, here's a Stitched Mangler and another Geist. These are good things that are happening here. I think this guy does a better job of protecting us and, again, keeping us kind of trimmed into just blue. So if we see like a great white, black, or green card in the next pack, we can just jam it and sort of pseudo-force it. But we've established that blue is pretty open. We could go for a mill deck, but again, I'd rather just go for kind of a normal, let's see if we can win a draft deck, than go completely off the rails with like I did last time with Crawling Sensation, which was fun, but Papa's got bills to pay. Sometimes you need to just win. Now, I'll play 2 of these. I ain't above it. But I think at this point we probably just take... Well, there's an argument for the Revenant too. But I think at this point we just take the Drifter because we're going to need 2-drops. And say we're probably white-blue. But again, it won't be impossible to get me off of it. The Neglected Heirloom also plays okay in a Skies deck. Like adding power to something that can attack unhindered, like the Geist, or the Spirit, does do a thing. I think Dual Shot is probably better than that. I don't think we want a Magnifying Glass. I'll take the Apparatus. I don't know that it ends up in the main deck, but we have some small incentive to get Delirium currently. If we play this, and it's possible we'll want more. It's also okay removal. It's not great, but how bad does a shock have to be before you run it? Countest thou to 3? It's definitely a Holy Hand Grenade. Even pulling the pin with their teeth. Alright. So I think we're blue X. We'll figure out what the rest of it is later. I probably don't want Ghostly Wings. Is there a world in which I play a Magnifying Glass? I mean, maybe. It ramps us to 5 if we end up with a preponderance of 5s. Well, there's another Crow. Like, that's kind of auto-delirium. Like, I like the Vessel because I can play it early, enable Delirium for myself if I want it. You know, I should probably just stick to blue cards. It gives us an early play if we're blue. Yeah. Like, you want something to play on turn 2. Plus, it's got a Brain in a Jar. Like, how is that not awesome? I don't want behind the scenes, and I don't mind having that in the board. Dutch is being a little bit needy at the moment. You're not out of cat food. I will give you more, but you have to eat what you have in the bowl already before you get more cat food. I guess it doesn't really matter what we pick here, but some people say think that seeing a late white card is me sending them a signal that white's open, and I'm not doing that. I'd say we're probably not green, but again, it could happen. Random green card we pick up might be better than either of these. For now, I'm going to put the glass over here, and for now, I'm probably going to put the apparatus over here, although I have a suspicion that that will make it into the deck. These flip cards are driving me nuts on the preview pane. Yar. They be driving me nuts. Alright. Man, the second cup of coffee is the best. Because the first one just sort of gets you primed for the second cup, and then you're ready to go. I think Thalia's Lieutenant's worth like $1 million or something, right? That's probably not. Plus, we said we're going to do a draft to win. So what does that mean that I actually take here? Like, green was cut enough that I could take the second Rabid Bite and just move into blue-green. Have some blue flyers, some ground duders, and 2 great removal spells in my deck. The Thalia's Lieutenant does, like, it's a white card, but it doesn't go in the white deck that we're drafting. The Erdenwall Illuminator is probably something that would be really good for us too. Being that it's blue, I might just take that and pass the rest of the stuff. Because we're pretty far away from wanting a Reduce to Ashes. Yeah, this pack comes down to those things, with a slight nod towards the Thraben Inspector. Like, am I willing to give up an Erdwall Illuminator for the chance that I play 2 Rabid Bites? Like, again, we don't have any ways to make clues yet, but I think I am. I think a 1/3 flyer is just something I want here so that I don't get run over. If we see an amazing green card here, we can cry a little bit and be sad because we're stupid, but if we don't, we're probably alright. Let's see, we've got the Frank Lepore enchantment. Got Essence Flux, which I guess would be okay if we're doing things and stuff. We still don't really have a reason to get Delirium, but we might at some point. It's a Murderous Compulsion, which, like, that plus Crow starts to do something. It's where you wish you'd taken that last Crow instead of the Vessel. Like, I don't think we're going to, like, lose out because of the Fruitive Homunculus, so I'm going to take the Compulsion here. I'm going to see if the black flows. Trying to figure out what our second color is for sure and just move in and solidify on it. But I'm not seeing any real clear answers here. Like, the Apothecary Geist is probably just our better thing here, and we just move into blue-white flyers and call it done and accept that our removal is not great. Yeah, I think that's probably where we are. Blue should be open in the next pack so we can get everything we need from there. Good red. Again, we're pretty far away from that. Decent green, but I think that ship has sailed. I think I have navigated the best I can, and we're just going to go ahead and say, all right, we are blue-white skies. We're going to have to play an explosive apparatus. And maybe this magnifying glass? We'll see. Well now. You don't say. I also really like this card. What are the chances I could get somebody to exactly 13? It seems reasonable. How hard is the draft going to be? Like, I have to main deck. I think this card is actually just good. So what happens if I do something like this? I get my Crow back. I get my Compulsion back. We've got a couple flyers to peck away. I think this is actually a thing. Maybe it's a thing. Let's see. Alright. I've got another Illuminator. I think we can take that. We would like more clue producers, but that's alright. That Heirloom's not looking particularly great here, but... Nagging Thoughts would probably also be reasonable, but let's get some creatures in here. Like, getting them to 13 with flyers seems like I could probably do it. Like, you can kind of craft a game plan around it if you've got this in your hand. We may have to play the Deny Existence. We may have to play the Magnifying Glass. Those are all things I'm fine with. We could also open a Looter in the next pack, and our stuff just looks brilliant. Biting Rain is almost good enough here. It doesn't mess with our Illuminators or our Mangler. Once this guy's flipped, it's fine. The only thing it actually kills is our Crow. I like Just the Wind a lot too, because there are things like this going around that people play and other creature enchantments that you can mess with. I've already got a counterspell if I want it. The fact that this only kills our Crow and we can continue drafting things that it doesn't kill might mean it's okay, but I still think I want the first Just the Wind. Like, we pick up a Looter, all of a sudden this deck is entirely turned on. It took me a while to settle, but I think I've settled into the colors I want to be in. I think Murderous Compulsion, Triskaidekaphobia is probably better than a couple random mediocre flyers, although the Apothecary Geist is a real thing. Hey, maybe we open a Sorin in the last pack and hand land and say, you know what, we're just going to play Esper. It can happen. I believe in the heart of the cards. Got Sorcery's Instance. There's a Rise from the Tides. I don't think that's what's happening here, because it's only instants and sorceries, and like, we just don't have enough of those things. It's starting to look like red was open and we didn't know it. Huh. It's very hard to read signals, but again, it's the early stages of a draft. I'm going to take the rare land, as it's worth a ticket or two. And we're not playing any of the rest of these cards. Epitaph Golem is a fine blocker, even if we're not doing fun and interesting shenanigans with it. The Ghoul is just a dude that can block like a bad Drownyard Explorer. I think at this point I probably take it. We may get additional zombie shenanigans. Catalog, I mean, doesn't play poorly with some of the things we're doing, in that we've got Murderous Compulsion and Just the Wind. But I think I've got to have a preponderance of blockers or we're just going to get run over. Okay, we got the Wicker Witch anyway, if we want it. We've got the Homunculus anyway, if we want it. I think because I have the Triskaidekaphobia, I'm actually interested in the Homunculus here. And that can potentially poke in for a couple points of damage. And I also feel like the format's a bit warped because of werewolves, and that I want to make sure I have early plays. Otherwise, I could just get run over. I'm not excited about playing a Rotten Heart Ghoul, and I'm not still entirely sure that our black's better than our white. But I do feel like there's some stuff going on here. Like, these guys double our clues. I'm not sure where we're getting the first one from, but they're going to make the Drownyard Explorers really good. The Blade looks like that didn't particularly pan out. But that's alright. Alright, we got a catalog anyway. Probably play it too. Like, if we're looking for this, we can get there. Gone Missing I don't love, but sure. That's about where it should be showing up. Let's hack a Chasm. We're past the point of caring about sending signals. I played a Pray for Answers, or Press for Answers yesterday in a sealed, and it was not good. That said, it's something you can play on turn 2. It taps a thing. It's really weird as a sorcery. It does get you a clue, which we probably want. Like, it's currently in the deck. The Magnifying Glass might also be currently in the deck, which says something. Like, we really aren't like winning the game if we ramp to 5. Well, there's a Duskwatch Recruiter, which is probably one of the more powerful cards here. There's another Stitched Mangler. There's a Reaper if we just want to abandon black, which feels really weird to bounce back and forth on black-white so darn much. Like, that's another 5-drop. I mean, again, we could take this guy. It's not unreasonable to say, screw it, we're going to go into green-blue. Like, most of our playables are blue. We can pick up enough playables here to do something. It does play nicely with the Neglected Heirloom, so it makes that reasonable too. The downside is our deck is a lot of air. So I'm kind of worried that we won't actually have a kill condition if we don't end up playing either the Flyers or the Triskaidekaphobia. So I feel like for me this pick is between the Mangler, the Reaper, or another Murderous Compulsion. Sadness. I'm going to go with the Mangler. Tamiyo. Tamiyo's Journal is interesting. Tamiyo's Journal with Erdenwall Illuminator and a 1 card that you would want to fetch is really interesting. Have you done it, Travis? I think you might have. Currently this heirloom is not something we're playing, but I think we're doing a thing now. So let's get rid of that. Let's hope we don't have to play this. Like, we've got enough stuff here on 2 drops that we don't need to run it just as a 2 drop. It might be neat to force through the last damage. And let's be hopeful and move this over too. Like, these are all still here there if we need them. But like Tamiyo's Journal with 2 of these guys means we can basically tutor for this at any point that we want it. Or any other card that we want. We just focus on getting our opponent to 13, leaving them there, and then just draw the cards to get there. Now randomly, here's every card you could ever want for the colors that we decided we weren't. Silent Observer is a great blocker. Can also peck in a few points of damage. Like, it's essentially a 3-power flyer if you're going to play Triskaidekaphobia. And having 1-power attackers can be reasonable there too. And I think I just want the Drownyard Explorers though, because again, building up a bunch of clues so that I can just play this and sack it immediately is pretty cool. I mean, if I knew the Solitary Hunter was coming back, we were in a completely different deck, but that's not how it worked out. There's not a black card that's worth taking either, so here we are. There is a pretty good stuff here for us. We could go for alternate kill condition, mill you out. I don't think we've got like the 2-card combo, one fetching the other. That doesn't seem reasonable to me. We're not actually casting cards out of our graveyard, so this is never going to just like ploop in. That said, it is a 3-mana 3/3, which is pretty dang good. I also like the Aberrant Researcher, and that if that flips, it will just kill them. And we do have a lot of instants and sorceries, don't we? I think that's probably the pick, although the Corpse Trawler is good too. Like, it gives us something. Like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's actually not that many. I think I just take it as a 3/2 flyer though. Like, my Drownyard Explorers will block their other stuff. Dagnabbit. Well, I'm going to be happy about taking Welcome to the Fold, but if we had taken the other enchantment and this, we could really start doing some fun stuff. But that has left us. It'd be neat if we could Madness this, but I'll still take it as a 4-mana Mind Control for something small. Most of the format's small, so it's fine. It's fine, right? Plus it's sorcery to combo with this. We're getting a little bit low on the things that do stuff. I don't mind a Mind Rot. It gets worse late game. We don't really have any want to turn on Delirium or care about that, so I could just take a 3/5. It blocks stuff. We might get to loot. There's a zombie in the deck. These guys are zombies too. Yeah, we're basically taking our 23rd card here. So, sure. This is actually tough for me because I think Pour Over the Pages is pretty absurd. It's probably an upgrade to Catalog. Although, to be fair, Catalog does enable Welcome the Fold. It's kind of dirtle nothing. Throttle gives us a way to reach out and torch something, which I like. And the Silent Observer ups our creature count a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to take the Observer. It does a lot of the same things that Throttle does, plus is able to attack. And I can get this Lamplighter out of here because I don't really want that. And Niblis, I think, is fine, again, when we're looking primarily to get our opponent to 13 or just kill them in the air. Alright, I'm kind of okay with everything that's happening here. It's a weird deck, but I'll take it. It ended up being mono blue, which is kind of weird, but I do think the combo kill is here. I'm going to actually grab the Seagraph Scab, just in case. Just in case we need this. I can't believe I passed 4 over the pages. That just, my soul is hurting a little bit. There's another Silent Observer. Like, that just buys you so much time to do so many dirtily things. I almost think I can cut this now. Like, I don't need that much expensive stuff in this deck. Like, our expensive thing is Catalog, Welcome to the Fold. This is kind of a whole lot of... No, it's not. It's fine. It's fine. I guess this Vessel isn't doing a lot for us either. Corpse Trawler too? We could grab the Fleeting Memories and see if the other one wheels. But I think I might actually play the Corpse Trawler over the Vessel, because like we're not really looking to do any Delirium shenanigans. Like none of these cards care about that. That might even make the Crow cuttable, and then we're basically just mono blue splashing for this and this. Like what happens if we mill Triskaidekaphobia or Tamio's Journal? We have to kill them with flyers, which we can probably do, but like why am I playing a 2-1 flyer? I've already got plenty of 2-1 flyers. Sure, that's fine. Like I could almost say just play the Seagraph Scab. Over the Crow, which may seem a little weird, but I've already got a bunch of flyers. It's a zombie for shenanigans with the Corpse Trawler. It blocks the aggro deck. It doesn't block it particularly well. That's the card I'm least happy about in the deck. I could also just run a Press for Answers. And I could run the Vessel. Or the Crow. Like, it's just... I'm not looking to enable Delirium, so does the deck want a 2-1 flyer? I realize I have a 2-1 flyer, but that gets better with some of my non-creature shenanigans. We still don't have enough stuff to be able to run the Neglected Heirloom, which is a little sad, but it's not the end of the world. I think we got plenty to do with our mana. We're going to crack clues, draw cards. I could also cut this Magnifying Glass. Yeah, that seems like a pretty easy cut. I don't need that. And then the last card can either be the Crow for Air Force shenanigans, Press for Answers for spell shenanigans. It's another spell for the Researcher, which again, there's a pretty low chance this is going to flip anyway, but it's fine as a 3-2 flyer. It's just, we've kind of got a bunch of Delirium enabling stuff, and then no reason to actually have Delirium. I don't like the Scab either. I'm going to run the Press for Answers and the Crow, and have a couple different game plans main deck, which is kill them in the air or kill them with this. Like, we're almost to where we could just play mono blue. Mono blue 4-drops. Jace's Scrutiny may just be better than Press for Answers. I mean, I'm mainly playing it because I want the Investigate, and this is at least an instant. So like if they've got a fight spell, I can counter it, or you know, some version of Rabid Bite. I guess those are the new fight spells. We could block with like a Mangler or something, or one of these guys, and maybe shrink something down. I mean, it's hardly ever going to shrink it down low enough to kill it, but at least we get a clue. I like clues. All right, let's give this a shot then, shall we? Yeah, if I ever want to hit... I might need Compulsion early, but I'm never going to need more than 6. Like, we're just splashing for 3 cards. That's fine. Cool. Let's load it up. I'll see you guys for round one in just a minute.